carry me as far as I want, she said. The girl leaned back against Roxanne's breast as she gathered up the reins. Goodbye, she said. But Fenolio held the horse back by the bridle. An idea had come to him, an idea born of desperation, but what else could he do? Wait for the mounted messenger he had sent until it was too late? Roxanne, he said, low-voiced, as he looked up at her. I have to get a letter to Maggie. I've sent a horseman after her to tell me where she is and whether she's well, but he isn't back yet. And by the time I sign off again with the letter, don't tell her anything about Bastard/if Fenolio. It would really upset her unnecessarily. Well, what I'm getting at is, oh, for heaven's sake, Fenolio, don't stare at her like that. Stare at me like an old dotted. What I mean is, if you really do ride after Dustfinger, would you take my letter to Maggie with you? You'd probably find her sooner than any messenger I can send now. What kind of letter? And the inner voice marked him. A letter telling her that nothing has occurred to you. But as usual, he ignored the voice. It's a very important letter. If he could have spoken even more softly, he would have done so. Roxanne wrinkled her brow. Even that was a beautiful sight. The last time you had anything to do with a letter, it cost Cloud Dancer his life. Still, very well. Bring it to me if you like. As I said, I'm not going to wait much longer. The castle courtyard seemed strangely empty to Fenolio when she awakened. Rosenquartz was waiting in his room beside which was still light, looking reproachful. You know something, Rosenquartz? Fenolio said to the glass man sitting down on his chair again at his side. I think Dustfinger would like to wring my old neck if he knew how I gazed at his wife. But what does that matter? He liked to wring my neck anyway. One reason more or less makes no difference. He doesn't deserve Roxanne anyway, leaving her alone so often. Ooh, someone's in a truly princely temper again, remarked Rosenquartz. I'll be quiet, growled Fenolio. This parchment is about to be covered with words, and I just hope you've stirred the ink properly. The ink's not to blame if the parchment is still blank, retorted the glass man. Fenolio didn't throw the pen at him, although his fingers itched to do so. The words that had passed Rosenquartz's pale lips were only the truth. How could the glass man help it if the truth was unpleasant? Chapter 48. The Castle by the Sea. It was exactly as Mo had imagined the castle of Mo. Mighty towers, round and heavily built, crenulations like black teeth below the silver rooftops. Mo thought he was seeing Fenolio's words before his eyes when the exhausted captive staggered through the castle gateway ahead of him. Black words on paper white as milk. The Castle of Night, a dark growth by the sea, every stone of it polished with screams, its walls slippery with tears and blood. Yes, Fenolio was a good storyteller. Silver ringed the battlements and gateways, and wound over the walls like snail trails. The Adderhead loved that metal. His subjects called it moonspit, perhaps because an alchemist had once spun him a tale that it could keep away the white women, who hated it because it reflected their pale faces. Or so Fenolio had written anyway. Of all the places in the ink world, this was the last where Mo would have chosen to be. But he wasn't choosing his own way through this story, that much was certain. It had given him a new name, the Blue Jay. Sometimes he felt as if the name were really his, as if he had been carrying it around with him like a seed that had only now begun to grow in this world of words. He was feeling better. The fever was still there, like opaque glass in front of his eyes, but the pain was a tame kitten by comparison with the beast of prey that had still been tearing at him in the cave. He could sit up if he gritted his teeth. He could look around to find Risa. He seldom took his eyes off her, as if, in that way, he could protect her from the glances of the soldiers, their kicks and blows. The sight of her hurt more than his wound. By the time the gates of the Castle of Night closed behind her and the other prisoners, she could barely keep on her feet for exhaustion. She stood still and looked up at the walls surrounding her, like a mouse examining the trap it has fallen into. One of the soldiers pushed her onto the shaft of his spear, and Mo longed to put his hands around the man's neck and press hard. He tasted the hatred on his tongue and in his heart like a shivering sensation, and cursed his own weakness. Risa looked at him and tried to smile, but she was too exhausted, and he saw her fear. The soldiers reined in their horses and surrounded the prisoners as if they could possibly have escaped from those steeply towering walls.